Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us for this second series in our AI August webinar series. Today, we are talking all about AI and the future of websites, how it's changing, how they're built, how they're found, how they're experienced. I'm joined by two incredible panelists here today, Andrew Johnson and Dr. Mary Beth Kuzmensky. Andrew, I'll have you introduce yourself first.
Hi, Graham. Thanks so much. My name is Andrew Johnson. I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called Testimonial IQ, which, as you might guess, focuses on helping client or financial advisors collect client testimonials.
Awesome. Great product. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew. And Mary Beth.
Yeah, so I'm Mary Beth Kuzmeski. I'm the president of Red Zone Marketing. We are a marketing consulting firm that works exclusively in the financial services industry, helping with business growth.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm Graham Turner. I'm the president here at Snappy Kraken, and I will be doing my best to guide us through all of the great content we have lined up for you. Before we get into it, I want to let everybody know we are doing a live Q&A as we go through the webinar. So if you do have questions, please use the webinar chat or the Q&A box, and we'd be happy to answer those live. Also, if you are brave enough, we are going to be doing a live website review. So if you have a website and you're not sure if it's good or not, now is your chance to hear live from two experts and a guy to review everything you have on your website, 3 to 5 minutes in front of everybody. And I think it's going to be awesome. So please, please, please drop your website link in the chat and we will do a live website review. At the end of today's session, you are going to get an email with a link, which is our AI website checklist. It is going to be an actionable checklist to audit your website, improve your SEO and AEO rankings. And if anything in there doesn't make sense or you need help, we happen to build websites here at Snappy Kraken. I'm also the ex-CEO of a company that was called Advisor Websites. So we'd love to talk to you, and all the information that you might need is going to be in that document. Okay, to kick us off here, AI is everywhere. I'm sure you're either sick of hearing about it or you're not quite sure what to do with it. And that's why you joined today's webinar. Well, fear not. The future is not AI versus advisor, it's AI with advisor. And what that means, we're going to dive into right now. So, number one, the role of websites with AI. We have heard time and time again that AI is coming for us. It's coming for our jobs, it's coming for our content, it's coming for our websites. And if I'm in the audience right now, Mary Beth and Andrew, what I'm thinking is, I don't really need a website anymore. AI is going to cover everything that I might need, and websites are a thing of the past. Am I right or am I wrong? Mary Beth, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I would say that you're definitely wrong, because although the way we search for things might be changing, our website is still the place that our referrals are going to go to, that our prospects are going to go to find out more about us. And it is as critical as it's ever been today.
Yeah,
Andrew, right or wrong?
yeah. The only thing I'd add is they're more important today because ChatGPT, Gemini, they don't only know what's out there. They only know what they can see and read. And so if you don't have a website optimized for them, then there's no possible way they can know who you are.
I love that. So if I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about really how the role of AI and websites interact together, there was a couple things that I think we can use as jumping off points here. The first is, if you're on this webinar today, you're probably not an expert in building websites, but AI can absolutely assist with how we're building websites. Where do you guys kind of see that line? Like where should we really sort of think about best practices and expertise versus how we might want to interact with AI to maybe make some things easier?
Yeah, in terms of your website, to have a great, powerful website, you actually need to be updating it kind of on a regular basis. And you go, how am I going to do all that? And how am I going to get that done? Because as you know, what Andrew was saying is if people can't find you, then and they can't find you based on the latest things that people are interested in based, related to financial advisors. So we have to be able to use AI, and AI can help out with content. Let's say you've got tons and tons and tons of writing on your website and you go, pretty much no, it needs to be more concise. AI can help filter through some of that. You have to have the right prompts in there, but it can help filter through some of that to help you find some of those tools. Now, there is some of that messaging. There are tools out there that will help you, quote unquote, build a website altogether. I have not seen those actually that have come in a way that are actually really great right now. So I have not seen anything that allows you to do what you need to do as a financial advisor. And you also, in a lot of cases, have to have that compliance connection. So we have seen that it helps with messaging, it helps with task orientation, it helps with idea generation. Let's say you want to do a webinar on a topic and put it up there. Ask AI what a good topic is. I mean, there's a lot of, it becomes your marketing assistant, but it doesn't overtake some of the things that are sort of standard table stakes, like having a good website built for you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, to part of what Mary Beth said, websites should no longer be viewed as a static listing in a directory. They need to be living documents. I see a question in the chat, how often should you update it? There probably used to be rules for traditional SEO around you need to have it updated every 6 months or every 12 months. Now it's as often as you can, right? As soon as you learn something new about how people are trying to find you or what they're excited about, that's when you can make those updates. And, to the point about AI, yeah, I'm sure Graham can tell you this. He's the expert when it comes to content, right? Creating content is easy. Creating good content is really challenging. And so I think there can be a temptation to say, oh, I need to have a lot of stuff on my website. I'm going to have ChatGPT turn it out. That's not going to help you. And so I think that even though, yes, you can create more content faster, it's worth the time and understanding what are people looking for? What answers are they trying to find? And how can I structure that and put that on my site in a way that's going to make it really easy for them to uncover what they need very, very quickly?
I think that's absolutely correct. And I think that there's three different models that I've seen. Really, the first is I'm a human being. I'm going to sit down at a keyboard and I'm going to write a blog post or I'm going to write a page for my website, which is great. I mean, there's nothing like authentic human thought. There's also the complete flip side, which is I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what are the most popular topics for financial advisors? I'm going to have ChatGPT write a 500-word blog post with the M dash in it. And then it's going to be probably a D plus in terms of quality. And then there's the middle ground, which I think is a really interesting avenue to explore, which is AI assisted content. And what I mean by that is you may want AI to create a bit of a framework for you, even explore different topics that might be interesting. But if you lean on any sort of AI tool to write your entire content for you, it's going to be pretty crappy. And so I think that line may be a little bit amorphous to some of the folks that are on this webinar for us today. Sorry, Mary Beth, where do you kind of draw that line between AI versus human, and what really have you seen kind of work well?
Yeah, I have seen, and I'm working with a client right now that is constantly sending me things. He goes, "Oh, I just wrote this white paper, I just wrote this blog, or I just wrote this video script," and it doesn't sound like him. He just went into ChatGPT and did it. And I said, well, what are we trying to accomplish here? And let's start with what our goals are and what we really want to do. And then let's figure out how to use AI to help us maybe generate some topics. But AI doesn't talk in your tone. AI is not going to generate a video script that sounds like you. You've got to, work with it, generate the idea and go, okay, this is what I want to do. And, back to the idea of the website, if you've got lots of content on your website, it's not to say I need more content. It's to say, in a lot of cases, the content that I have is the right content and I have shortened it up. I've updated my headlines. I've done some of those things, and ChatGPT can give you ideas. But never have I ever used ChatGPT and just said, this is perfect as is. It always requires some massaging and some figuring out how to make it sound like you. And that is not something, if you just, like you said, Graham, if you just, ChatGPT it or whatever, and you put it up there and it's got all the dashes in there, everybody knows that that is just straight out of ChatGPT. And that means that, well, he didn't write it, so I guess he doesn't really care about that. So you want to make sure that you're using it as a tool to help you. It's a great brainstorming tool. It's a great tool to fix things in the end and to go, hey, can you spice this up? Can you give me a headline that would work with this document that I just wrote? And it's great for that. But even then, you're still updating, and you should still update so that it is authentically yours. By the way, I want to make one note, because the question that I get a lot from clients is, well, how do I know how people are searching for me? How do I know what the latest trends are? And it's really important to look at Google Trends. That's an actual thing. You can go to Google Trends and find out what people are searching for right now. And you can do a search within the trends to find out if somebody is thinking about retirement, what are they actually searching for? And those are the things that we want to make sure are on our website. And like Andrew said, it's not something that you do, I don't know, once every couple of years. It's something you do all the time to make sure. And there's some strategies that we'll use that I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit to kind of make sure you've got all that stuff on your website.
Yeah, if I could just add too, related to the content piece, and another reason not to have ChatGPT do it, we are entering an age, or maybe I guess we're already in it, of hyper personalization. Search engines used to be pretty good at matching queries with something that was a pretty good answer. But AI-based searches want to do better. They want to match you with the exact answer, the exact product, the exact solution you're looking for. And so every advisor who is on this call right now, to some degree, may be chasing the same clients. But if you dig down deeper, they're the types of clients you serve, the ones you serve best, are going to be asking for you a little bit differently, or describing their problem in different language. And so your best chance to get found, it's not about being found by everybody. It's about being found in these search engines by the exact people who are asking the questions that you can solve the best. And so that's, just another reason, please do not have ChatGPT write your summaries. Think about it from the perspective of the people who are looking for you, and tailor that content very, very specifically, because that is exactly how these search engines are going to be trying to match you, or the people searching for you, to one another.
I think you've both made incredibly important points. And the thing that ChatGPT doesn't know is you as an advisor, why your clients have trusted you with their financial security, and what is interesting to them as you have these conversations. And so I want to be really clear, ChatGPT is incredibly useful for hyper personalization, as Andrew described, but the inputs and the prompts that you leverage to actually create valuable outcomes for yourself when using any LLM tool, that's actually the important part. The answers are going to come back at you, but the questions you ask to get to those answers actually requires quite a bit of skill and experience. And only you as an advisor know those questions that you're getting every day, every week, every year. The other thing is, and I think Mary Beth kind of touched on this, but what is the actual purpose of having a website? Well, it's a place that anybody can come and learn about you and your business and the services you offer and how you want to market yourself. By just spinning out AI generated content, you lose any of that authenticity. And so when somebody reads a blog post, let's say it was created by ChatGPT, and they come and talk to you, hey, I love that thing you wrote about retirement and 401ks. And now you're like, wait, what was that? I never wrote that. And so you're trying to answer these questions that actually you never had any input on. Maybe you copied and pasted and hit post, but that's basically about it. And so that line between I'm a human being and I'm having a human interaction with a client or a prospect versus I am going to use ChatGPT to help me create content or help ideate on content, I think is really, really really important. Sorry. Caress made an interesting comment in the chat about a free optimized prompt crafter using an AI web app builder. which is interesting because now you're using AI to create prompts to use an AI. And I think if you think too much about it, it might make your head explode. But I think that's a really, interesting point. I'm going to move us along here, really talking about AI and website design and development. So I know design and website design specifically is an area that a lot of us or a lot of advisors do struggle with. Does it look good? How should it look? What are the best practices? What are the things that I don't know around SEO? What's a meta tag? What's a long tail keyword versus a short tail keyword? Mary Beth, when you think about website design and all the different things that go into it, where do you see the role of AI, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. You could go right now to ChatGPT and say, create a homepage messaging for a website for a financial advisor, and it'll come up with something. And it'll be generic and it'll be fine, right? But it won't have anything to do with the particular advisor. And what we want to know, I do a lot of writing for websites. We want to know, why do people hire you? What is it about you? And it goes into Andrew and the the reviews and the things that people are saying about you. But I want to know what you do. I want to know the conversations you have with clients. I want to know what they say. And all of that information is sort of like my prompt for writing. And if you're going to use ChatGPT, you got to put in all of this stuff. Like, we did an exercise where we were working on a video script for a client. I put in 7 pages, single spaced, of a Microsoft Word document into ChatGPT to see what what the outcome was. The prompt wasn't 3 words. The prompt was 7 pages of content. And so you're doing some either writing on the front end or you're doing a lot of writing on the back end. But AI can be used and should be used, actually, to help you get the best content. But it certainly needs to be not that we're just using it without thinking. The prompts have to be, what is it about you? I mean, I spend an hour to 2 hours asking about who you are as a financial advisor and what is it that you, I want to understand your tone. I want to hear you. I want to capture all of that, because that's what good writing has to capture: that tone, who you are, what kind of culture you have in your office. And ChatGPT just can't get that. It just won't get that. Or I say ChatGPT, but it could be Claude or anything else, right? But it's really, how are we understanding who we are? And then if we're going to use ChatGPT, that has to be put into the prompt. It can't just be generate website for financial advisor, because it'll do it. It just won't be you as the financial advisor.
I love the idea about, spending more time up front. The 7 pages of information you're feeding in. I think a lot of people, I alluded to earlier, think, oh, well, now with AI, the content part I can skip, right? Because it's going to generate that for me, and it will, but it's garbage in, garbage out. But the more specifics, the more information you can give it. From a prospect's perspective, now, it used to be you work with a financial advisor down the street, or you meet someone at your country club and they introduce you to some of their advisor, and that's the way you find them. But now people are looking all over the country, right? They've got 300 to 1,000 or so options. And so it's really, really important to stand out. And having the website as a check the box thing, as almost like a yellow pages listing, well, you've got your picture, you've got your name, you've got your credentials, you got links to your Form ADV. That's not enough anymore, because this isn't just about the experience someone has when they land on it. It's, are they ever going to land on it? Is it ever going to be recommended to them by a search engine or an AI answer engine? And so the more content you have and the more it can be structured in the way that those people are looking for you, the better. And one thing that we've recently started doing in my own company is, every time we meet with prospect firms, we have a little Notion doc where we track, what are the questions you're asking? How did you hear about us? And what are the questions you're asking? What are the problems you have? And we're in the process of trying to synthesize that and make sure that we can put that all on our website. Don't go there now, because we haven't done a good job of it yet. But we just want to make sure that the more content we have that matches exactly how people are looking for us, so the problems they're describing is there, so it's easier to be discovered. But it's work, right? There's not an easy button for it, unfortunately, yet. Maybe Graham can build that.
I don't know that I have the technical expertise to do that yet. But one of the main reasons I wanted you both on this panel was something that I learned. Mary Beth, you actually taught me this, which was there's really two components which are cornerstones as we start to think about AEO. And AEO, agent, what's the E, Mary Beth?
Engine.
There you go, optimization. She's teaching me things every day. And so as we think about this, there's really two key content cornerstones where AEO is going to make a big difference. The first being a FAQ page. And Mary Beth, since you were the one that originally recommended this, and as we were actually collaborating on building a website for one of our shared clients, you made some interesting points around why an FAQ page is really important for AI to be able to find. Do you mind expanding on that?
Yeah, and it's one of the ways that you can easily get your site ready for AI searches, because if you, a lot of people are searching now, it's the numbers are, they go up every single month, where people are going into an AI or they're going into Google and it's giving them the AI results. They're not typing in financial advisor Chicago. They're typing in, what do I do with my 401k when I leave my job? Or how do I know I won't run out of money in retirement? They're asking those long, it's like a long tail keyword, but a question, because we're looking for an answer. And that's what we do with AI now. I'm searching into AI and I'm looking for an answer. And it's going to give me an answer. And that answer, in a lot of cases, is not going to be, I mean, if you search for things right now, you'll see some of the big financial providers, they've already figured this out, and they are, they're coming up in the searches. If I go, when I retire, how do I know I won't run out of money? Those kinds of things, they've already put something in there. The best and easiest way to do that is to generate FAQs, the question and the answer, because then, and we've tested this out, then your website might come up when somebody is searching for that. Now, it still has to be, it still has to be found and all of those kinds of things, but that's your best shot at getting found. The other thing is making sure you've got good headlines that are really talking to those issues. But it's the FAQs that are, you want to know the question and the answer? Well, this website has it. So it'll lead right to that website, and then it leads a prospect right to you. It's different than what it used to be. Now, you still want to follow the same Google SEO strategies and things like that in case somebody does search for financial advisor in Chicago. But they're really not searching like that as much anymore. And so we want to make sure that we are coming up for all those questions. And how do you know? You ask you think about, well, what are my customers, what are my clients saying? Like Andrew was doing, what are my clients saying? What questions are they asking? And let's put those questions and those answers up there, not because the prospect is specifically going to ask that, but they might. And if you've got that FAQ up there, boy, this is, that's the way to get found. And it's totally different than anything we did before.
And I'm curious, Mary Beth, when you're doing that, are you doing anything different with the language you're putting in there? I mean, for example, if I have a question about gifting limits, right? I'm probably not going to type in, what are the IRS gifting limits for 2026? I'm probably going to type in, how much money can I give my kids without getting taxed? Right. So are you doing anything different with how you structure the content of the FAQs, or at least the questions being asked?
Absolutely. The questions have to relate back to how real people might ask that question. How do I know I won't run out of assets in retirement? People don't actually talk like that. Financial advisors do. We've got to actually put the words that our clients and our real prospects are asking. It absolutely makes a difference. It's got to be the way that they're asking it. And sometimes we can figure out how they're asking it by going to Google Trends, in addition to just knowing what your own prospects are saying and what questions they're asking and what concerns they have. But those things are the kinds of things that you want to have on your website.
I think that's such an interesting evolution of how people find information, right? If you think back to, we started with the Dewey Decimal System, and then we started to ask Google some questions, and now we're asking AI some questions. And one of the items in the website checklist, spoiler alert, is do you have a FAQ section on your website, for the exact reason that Mary Beth just described, which is folks are asking questions differently. And where you might plug in Google in 2017, financial advisor near me retirement, that might be the language you use. Now it's very different. It's very much more question and answer based. And I think it's really interesting. It's a really interesting evolution just in terms of how people find information. The other component that I've learned is incredibly useful for AEO to find us is testimonials. And Andrew, I know this is right down the middle for you, but talk to me a little bit about how testimonials influence how AI tools may recommend a different financial advisor.
Yeah, so I think there's two components. The first is trust signals. So just like SEO evolved and started taking into account backlinks and all these sort of authority signals to know which websites to recommend, so you couldn't just pack your website full of keywords to win. Answer engines, ChatGPT, Google's AI search feature, all of them are looking for authority signals in addition to content. So having that content is good, but if there's nothing that points to them that says this is a legitimate business, it's a great website, other people trust it, the chance of it recommending your answer, no matter how good the quality is still quite low. One of the things that these engines have been trained on is testimonials, is user-generated content. And so having them on your site, having them structured in a way that makes it very clear that they're testimonials. In fact, I always recommend to firms, I know in this world they're called testimonials, have a page header that says client reviews, because that's how people search. They don't look for testimonials. Most prospects haven't read the marketing rule. So call it client reviews, or call it this is what our clients have to say about us, because that's giving it a signal. Okay, you've got feedback from your clients. And then even include a note, right, that says, it's telling these search engines, we're including all the feedback here. We're not holding it back, right? Tell it everything. Tell it that you're being honest and displaying all the feedback you get. So the first is giving it that trust signal that you're a great business, that you have real clients, and your clients love you. And structure that in a schema, in a markup that is telling these answer engines, this is client feedback. That's how you should process it. The second is, now that it's got your trust signal, we're seeing this a lot, is giving it elements of your website to pull out into summaries. And so a lot of times if you start doing a Google search about a financial firm, you'll see the autofill option, right? It'll say like, is XYZ Advisors legitimate? Is XYZ Advisors a good firm? And it's going to tell you to ask those questions. When you do those searches, a lot of times what we see is it's going to pull out snippets of the reviews, and it's going to say, XYZ firm may or may not be right for you, but they're, registered with the SEC, and their clients report exceptional service and, great attention to detail. And so you're giving it, one, more chance that it's going to pull you as an option. And two, when it does pull you as an option, it's going to be giving those trust signals to the consumer and, another nudge to say, hey, it's worth actually doing the click, right? Do this click and get to the site. Because there's been a huge, fuss made about zero-click searches. And that's going to accelerate now with ChatGPT, because people just get the answer there in their answer box and it'll go to your site. You two know much more about website and traffic than I do. I suspect that may mean that you're going to get less traffic, but it means the traffic you get is higher intent, because the people who are just looking for informational queries, they got what they needed and they left, they didn't get there. But the people who took the time to get to your site are really interested in learning more about you. So everything you can do to get those people to take the time to go to your site and then have a wonderful experience, a trust building experience on your site to get them to take that next step to have a call. So testimonials give trust to the search engine, gives a great experience or gives it recommendations about you, and then they land on your site and they see all that wonderful information. It's like, all right, maybe it's actually worth booking a call with this person.
And for a long time,
I think that's really
advisors couldn't do that, right? They couldn't do it, and now they can. You have to have proper disclosures and all those kinds of things, but now you can, and it's always been one of the most powerful things. And now it can be done, and it really should be on your website. And the other thing is blogs. So if you've got a good blog that's answering good questions, not just a general blog about whatever, but the blogs have to actually get into answering those questions as well, just like your FAQs do. So that's another way to help.
I think that's actually a really important point that I want to touch on. So, Caress, I hope I'm saying that right, asked the question in the chat, does it matter if we have an FAQ page versus a blog answering the most frequently asked questions we hear? My response to that would be, why not both? because an FAQ page is going to have pretty short answers as far as what I've seen in terms of question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. And a really interesting content strategy that I've seen deployed really successfully is I'm going to take that answer and now I'm going to expound on it. I'm going to create a blog post that really goes into a greater level of detail. A, what the answer is, but B, more importantly, why I'm answering that question in this way. The other thing about the blog is the blog does get updated, hopefully pretty regularly. And so it's unlikely that somebody may find just by navigating through your website the answer to that question they originally came to your website to find. Having the FAQ page as a ever living page makes it a lot easier for them to find that answer quickly. And then if they want to learn more, they can of course investigate the blog. Mary Beth, what did I miss from that answer?
No, I think that's exactly right. But I think the way we write blogs has to be a little different because the blog, if you're thinking about it, the blog is answering a question. And if the blog is answering a good question, then you're probably going to come up in those kinds of searches and things like that. So it absolutely does make a difference, but we have to adjust the way we write. And by the way, we're talking about this in a year from now, it might be something different. But in a year from now, how many clients are you losing out because they can't find you and they can find somebody else? So this is a constantly changing and evolving thing. We weren't writing FAQs for financial advisors' website as much as we do. We write them for every website today. We didn't do that a year ago. And so it might be something else that's changing, but everything has to be adjusted so that you're being found in the right way. And I think Andrew, you said it, or someone said it, but a website is not static. It's not static at all. It's got to be something that we're in and we're working on and we're updating and we're changing and we're staying up with the times. And so it sounds like maybe it's a lot of work, but it's really not. You just have to know what to do and how to do it.
Which I think is an awesome segue into the next part of this, which I suspected, and I think I've been validated through the questions, is really the major area that people want to know more about, which is how AI is transforming web searches. And so Jay, I believe it was, asked a question in the chat. Is AEO different than SEO, and how does that impact my website? Why don't we start there? Because acronyms are tough, as I can attest to from earlier on this webinar. So what are the main differences between AEO versus SEO?
Yeah, so AEO is it's answer engine optimization, AEO, that's what it is. And so the first word tells you everything you need to know. It answers. It's got to answer. It's not like pages are ranked and websites are ranked and it's a whole different story. Where are the answers to the questions that people are asking? And I said this before, but even if you go into Google and you type a search question, the Google Gem, it's picking it up on AI and it's giving you AI answers. It's not giving you the standard search results that you used to get. You really can't get that anymore. You're getting an answer-based answer, but it's optimized for who's got the right questions and answers that are out there so that we can provide the answer to what people are asking. So you search any question and AI will find an answer for it and it'll give you the source of where it found that. But and sometimes it'll just make it up. But in the case of this, it's actually looking for places that are really answering that question. We got to be there.
Yeah, and I think if you think about consumer behavior and how they're trained to discover things, right? If you think back to the early days of Google search, the experience is very different, right? And I don't know if anyone remembers using, right? You put things in quotes and you have modifiers and you have and or and things like that, where you can get very specific with how you do your search. And you kind of learned early on, you don't type in the question you have, you type in a string of words and modifiers that you think are going to get translated by the search engine to pull in an index of results that most closely matches your question. And then you get a 1 through 10 page and you scroll through there and maybe you go to page 2. But if by page 2 you haven't found anything, you probably go back and try again. And so then the whole game of SEO is how do you get in that top 10, maybe top 20 results? Now, and it's amazing, it blows my mind how much this has changed, because even my behavior's changed so much, and I'm sure the next generation is never going to know what it's like to do a real search before. but you just type your question, you just get an answer. And if you don't like the answer, maybe you change it a little bit. But even Google now, the top of the search before the organic results is that generally AI generated answer, and it's going to have links to the sources. And so consumers are just asking their question now, which, yes, I know this is changing everything on its head, and the way your content on your site has to change. And now we're telling you that you got to update your site more than once a year, and you got to have blogs and FAQs and all this stuff. But the good news is it can just be in the language that those people are using. So it doesn't have to be, and in fact, it shouldn't be the sort of all the formal and the official language. Learn what they're searching for and put that there. And then that is the way you can stand out in all the various different answer engines.
I think those are both great answers. One of the things that people may not be aware of when searching using an AI driven tool is AI makes money based off your subscriptions, assuming that you pay for the pro version. It also makes money in a different way, which is referrals. And so the important point there that I want to mention is if somebody searches for a financial institution, maybe less so advisors, but more ranging into banks or credit unions, AI may actually recommend one of their existing partners where they can derive a commission. Not necessarily true again for this audience specifically, but what I want to make sure that we all understand is what happens afterwards. So if a prospective client does come to meet with you, and let's say you've done everything correct, you have your FAQ page, you have your testimonial, your website looks great, maybe they found you using Claude or ChatGPT. Uh, when they come in to have a real live conversation with you, it's really important that we as advisors understand that they're coming in with pretty set preconceived notions based off a conversation that you were never in because they were talking to ChatGPT. And so, one of the areas that I want to cover today is how do you position yourself as providing the human judgment that algorithms might not actually have? That's a tricky one, I know. Who wants to take that first?
I mean, I'll go, but you know, um the human judgment, it all comes into, you have the opportunity to put out into the world what you want people to know about you and how you want to be presented to the world. And it's not just we do financial planning, investment management for everybody. It's what is different about us, what is unique about us. And those are the kinds of things that are much harder than just to write we do financial planning, investment management for everybody. But it's much harder to get at the human part and how you actually work with your clients and why you work with your clients in that way. And all of those kinds of things are, you're putting yourself out into the world. How are you doing that? You're either doing it in a way that's super authentic and it's great, and you look at your website and you go, that's a great website. If you're not saying that's a great website about your own website, you have to change it. Because if you don't think it's good, guess what? There's other people who are not thinking that it's very good either. And a lot of people who come to your website, frankly, are not people from cold searches. And we're talking about this today, but a lot of people are just your referrals that are coming to your website. And so it's got to be set up for somebody who might know something a little bit about you, but they're still, taking a look at your website. And for people that don't know anything about you and are having a search, and voila, they're finding the right person. So it's difficult, but it all comes down to some of the nuances.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is I touched earlier on the age of hyper personalization. I think with that is moving away from some of the vanity metrics around how many, where's your ranking overall for broad terms and how many clicks you're getting every month, and understanding, are the right people landing on your page? So how long are they on your page? Which sections are they reading? What are they interacting with? And how are they finding you? And so, while it might feel good to be found for a financial advisor in Chicago, do you want to be found for that, or do you want to be found for a financial advisor in Chicago who helps widows over 70, right? Or whatever very specific target demographic you work with, because those are the people you're going to close, and those are the recommendations that if you're getting found for those types of recommendations, those are the transactional searches as opposed to the information ones. So those are the people who are looking for someone to work with today or very soon. And so spending the time and talking with folks like Mary Beth and understanding who are the target people for me, and how are they searching, and how can I use that language on my site to mirror it so that the people who are farther along in their funnel are discovering me.
I love that. I think that's an awesome segue into our live website audit. So we have not seen these websites before. There are no industry plans in the chat, but we don't have time to do all of them. Thank you for everyone who put their website address in the chat. I picked two, and one is a Happy Cracking website, and one is not. Mary Beth and Andrew, I suspect that you will not know which one is which, but I actually know this firm a little bit, so a bit of a cheat sheet. Okay, we're gonna go into website number one here. Website number one is Earner Wealth. And so when we land on this website, Andrew, Mary Beth, what is the first thing that we notice? And do we like it or not?
I mean, I'm a father of a little girl. The first thing I noticed that picture. So I think subconsciously I'm just thinking about, okay, you're working with young dads who've got kids and growing families. And if that's correct, then I love it.
Yeah, and I would say that that's exactly right. If I look at this, and I do not know, I've not looked at this site before, so I would say that they work with young people, and it's working with somebody maybe that wants to, there's that whole trend of somebody that wants to retire early, and that's their whole deal is they want to retire at age, 35 or 40 or something like that. I do think that there are a lot of words on this part right here, and I did put my glasses on, but they're, I think the way that we like to write today is if we have a powerful headline, we don't need all the words below it. If we have a powerful headline that, hey, I'm at the right spot. This is what I want. This is what I need.
I couldn't agree more with Mary Beth's point and Andrew's point. So the imagery here evokes a sense of I'm working with younger people. I'm focused on families. Maybe thinking about my son or daughter's tuition or retirement planning. When you read through this subheader, A, it's quite long. B, I don't know that it necessarily reflects the image on the right, and so it can be a little bit disjointed. As we go further down the page here, we have this section. So why work with us? And as we think about, all the different options that a consumer might have in picking a financial advisor, do we feel like these are the right things to say to really differentiate this individual from others that they may be considering?
Well, I'll take that first. The way that we always do it is why work with us. It can't answer the questions that there are. It can't be the future focused and adaptive. If, for instance, if my prospects, if that's not number one on their list of things that they're worried about or that they're concerned about, then it probably isn't there. So if the question they're asking is, I wonder if this firm is future focused and adaptive, I'm not sure those are the words they'd use. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to say. I'm saying we have to say it differently so that that's how, if that's what our prospects are really interested in, let's put it there. So there's a difference between want and need. So if somebody wants, the website has to be, what do they want? Not what do they need. We'll give them what they need if they pick up the phone or they email us or schedule an appointment. But we got to show on our website that we have what they want, that this is what they want, and we are telling them, listen, you're going to work with us because we have exactly what you want. Is this what they want? And I don't know, because I don't know this firm, if this is exactly what the prospects want. It's got to connect. You got to go, I'm at the right spot. I'm at the right spot.
Yeah, yeah. And the one thing I want to say up front is one, I feel so much for every financial advisor because not only is marketing really hard, marketing in your industry is nearly impossible because the regulations make it so hard to say anything. So I totally get that. But I think one of the end results of that is so much of it looks very similar. And so I see words like this, personalized, expert guidance, empowering. To me, that's all table stakes, right? There's always, people usually put words like, work with a true fiduciary and things like that. What consumers want to look for, and my company's all about social proof. So one, testimonials are great, but really why testimonials matter is because consumers want to know, do people who look like me, do people who feel like me, do people who have the same problems as me use you? Have they trusted you and invested you? And that makes it easier for me. It's like having that picture up there. I was so drawn to the picture because it's like, okay, I see a carefree dad with a young kid. He's got everything taken care of. Down here, you can kind of augment that, I think, instead of with some of like the safer language around how it's personalized, is, hey, this is the type of people we work with, right? Describe them, right? Use the words that are going to make it feel like, okay, someone like me has trusted you with their accounts, with their assets, with their future. And don't be afraid to get very specific. And then I think that's when it's easier to resonate. Because if I'm comparing 3 or 4 advisors and they all have something similar on their site, it gets, you start making decisions at the margins, which I don't think is ideal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I've had a chance to kind of cheat my way through this website. The one thing I would say, just kind of as I slowly scroll down and get ready to look at the next one, is there's really nothing about the advisor themselves on this homepage. And I think when a prospect does come in and visit with you, the fact that there's no picture or even short biography about who they're going to be meeting with and the human being behind it, I think that's a real missed opportunity here. And so, we'd love to make those updates for you. But overall, I'd say I do really like this website. The imagery at the top did evoke emotion. I think to Andrew's point, some of the language could be maybe a little bit sharper and a little bit more to the point. But overall, I think that's a great website. Any kind of final thoughts before I pull up the next one?
I mean, I would just say that it has to promote the problem or the challenge and then share that they have the solution. And it can't be every challenge that everybody has. It's got to be the highest common denominator kind of challenges that people have that you can solve. Even if you think, well, everybody can solve that problem. They're coming to your website and they want to know that you can solve that problem. So promote the problem, share the solution.
I like Christopher's comment around don't blame it on compliance, blame it on the lack of strategy, vision, and marketing plan. I'm not going to comment on that, but I think you know where I stand. Okay, I'm going to pull up the next one here. I thought this one was really interesting, and I'm really curious to hear both of your thoughts. But when I first opened this up, my initial reaction was, "Wow, the imagery is really cool. There's a lot going on this homepage right now." You guys are seeing this for the first time. Put yourselves in the shoes of a prospect looking for an advisor. What are we thinking?
I just have to say I'm laughing a little bit only because when I was first launching my company and I was pitching it to some investors, one comment I made is the reason they need testimonials such proof is so many financial advisor websites look the same because they're all a picture of an older couple on a sailboat drinking white wine, and that's this. So I think it's engaging and like aesthetically very pleasing. And I don't know, like, have to learn more about the demographic they're actually looking for. But I just thought it was funny that there's a lot of sailboat images on financial advisor sites right now.
Yeah, but the image in this case, I think it really works, and I love it because it's actually saying if you are uncommonly successful, this is the website for you. This is the firm for you. Empowering successful people to live a better life, and these are not super old people either. And yes, they're drinking champagne, cool, but I like the words. I think that I think it's really good. You got Californian Dream in there. You're talking about your niche market. That's the name of in your company. I like it. I like the movement on there, and I do agree that the imagery is something that a lot of websites have, but it seems to work for this one.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear we're not roasting websites here. We're offering
No.
constructive feedback. Just answering a comment in the chat there. I'm going to scroll down, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting about this is there's a lot of information, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. There are also these guides here at the bottom, and to kind of reiterate what I said earlier, not only with AI, but important for AI, but also important for the user experience, is being very prescriptive with the flow of the website. So we want users to take specific actions. We want them to look at specific pages, ideally in a certain order. And certainly this website does not lack for information. It doesn't lack for takeaways and take home guides and all of that good stuff. My initial thought when kind of looking through this is I don't really know where to click. I don't really know what this individual kind of wants me to do, what the prescribed user flow is. Validate or invalidate what I just said, my friends.
No, I agree. The flow, like it's the start is great, and then you go into a lot of words, that, yeah, there, and then the free guides. Um, I would break up those words into a different way so that it wasn't just so much right there, because theoretically we know that people don't read on websites. Now, I've written a bunch of books. I like it that people read, but they don't really do a lot of reading on the website. They do a lot of glancing. We need some subheadlines. We need some headlines. And the free guides should all be questions. Like you could redo those. It's not the Social Security claiming guide. It's how do I know, when to take Social Security. It's those kinds of things where just a little tweaks, and this could actually be the FAQ, and be able to have it more readable. But people do not like to do a lot of reading. They like to look at the homepage. They spend a little time there, and then they go to the bio page because they want to know who it is that I'm going to be talking to. And sometimes we bury those in the website. I don't know about this one, but sometimes we bury the bio. But that's the thing they want to know: who am I going to be meeting with? Who is this person? Can I trust them?
Yes, yes. Like I would get rid of the download our free guides and change it to, types of problems we solve, and then put those in the form of questions. And then just one small thing, I just went to the site, so I just saw this. When you click those, it opens to a new window, and then you have to click another button, which opens up a pop-up. And I understand their lead forms, but consumers today have very short attention spans, speaking from firsthand experience. And so there's more you can reduce that funnel. So if there's a way to just have you click it, enter the information, and then suddenly you can download it from there, it's just fewer clicks.
Yeah, great feedback, both of you. And the final comment I'll make is this sentence here is the most important sentence on the website because it talks about who you work with and the types of problems you solve. I'm going to be honest, unless I was doing a live website review for a webinar, I would not read this, or I would not read this far down. So you specializing in serving successful people with large tax-deferred retirement investments, coupled with the problem of higher taxes and cost of living, that is actually a really great ICP. It's just buried in a bunch of text further down your website. So a free recommendation is take this sentence, clean it up with the products don't really matter, bring it up here. Because if you can be that specific as soon as someone lands on your website, I will give you $5 if you don't get better results in the next couple of months.
Can I just say
Take them up on it. Take them up on it.
One thing I love though
Do it.
is at the top, there's a request a call button, and it actually goes to a calendar scheduling link. I am so happy to see this. I see so many websites where it's, get in contact with us, and then there's some long form you have to fill out, and you hope that the person is going to email you back or call you at some time that's convenient. So I love when firms have direct contact or scheduling links on their site.
Great comments. And for those websites that we did review, thank you so much for putting your hand up. There were actually so many more that we just didn't have a chance to get to, but that is not because they were bad websites by any means. They were just there's too many to look at. As we kind of wind this thing down over the last couple of minutes here, if you have not attended our previous AI website series, I highly recommend that you do go back and look at some of those. The previous one was fantastic. And just for your awareness, what is coming up next year, we have what's next for AI and advisor marketing. Tuesday, August 26th at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can go ahead and scan that QR code and register now. This is going to be the last webinar in our AI August website series. It's what's changing and how to stay ahead. We're going to dive into how AI is shaking up advisor marketing, what's working, what's just noise, and what's coming next. It is an absolutely great one to catch if you want to stay ahead of the curve. And again, go ahead and scan that QR code to save your spot today. Moving on here, Mary Beth, what are people going to expect should they scan this QR code?
Yes, I mean, nobody needs another email newsletter. I get that. But these are weekly email video insights. So, and you can get off it as easily as you get on it. But I do really short, 30-second to a minute and a half video updates. Like I did one on SEO and AEO, and I do them every single week, and they're specifically for financial advisors. So if anyone wants to get that, you could also go to my YouTube channel, but this is an easy way. And like I said, you could register and then you could get off it as soon as you, if you don't like it. And we also do a lot of website writing. So check out our website, redzonemarketing.com.
Savvy Kraken and Red Zone Marketing work very closely together to create website content, including all the best practices that we talked about here today. So if you are a new and interested in website customer of ours, or even if you're an existing customer and you feel like, man, my content really needs a refresh, feel free to reach out to anybody in our team, and we'll link you up with Mary Beth's awesome team. Moving ahead here, Andrew, same question for you. If someone scans a QR code, what can they expect?
Yep, we've got an opportunity to sign up for a very brief 15-minute call. We're happy to walk through, the tools we provide advisors to collect Google reviews, compliant first-party testimonials, create amazing website content from it, increase client feedback through surveys, referrals. But we're also always just happy to walk clients through best practices when it comes to testimonials, even if they don't want to use us. Give them some free tips and show them what's worked really well for advisors we've worked with.
Awesome. Thank you so much to my two panelists that have joined me here today. And for everyone in attendance, don't forget to check your email for the AEO and SEO websites best practices checklist. If you have any questions about anything in there, feel free to give us a call and we'd love to talk to you. Have an awesome rest of your Wednesday, and thank you again for joining us.